Hello everyone. This is the pre-market report video for today, 19th July 2023 in the Indian stock market in terms of Nifty and Bank Nifty. Yesterday, for the second consecutive day in a row, before 9 o'clock, Gift Nifty indicated a flat opening. Still during the pre-market and the opening time, it kind of rallied and made the Nifty to open significantly positive. It's really very weird. I don't know why or how, but for some reason I observed this same phenomena before in April, just at the time of result season starting. Anyway, yesterday Nifty opened a gap up of over 80 points and it maintained there till 11 pm. But after that, there was a report released by either the government or the public sector banks individually. In that, mainly SBI and Bank of Baroda reported that they had negative cash flow from operation and also the negative margin. It means indirectly their capital adequacy ratio was dropping, which I think it's okay, but I'm guessing the problem is in the negative margin. If any bankers watching this means, please clarify me what I'm missing here. So basically this pushed all the PSU banks into the negative zone, which in turn affects the Bank Nifty and pushed the Nifty down. However, there was a SEBI filing by Infosys that they signed a 5-year AI deal with some major company for $2 billion US. Here, they didn't reveal the client name, but the speculation was that might be Google, since already Microsoft signed the agreement with TCS. This made the Infosys crazy positive of over 3% and pushed back Nifty again to the positive direction. And one more thing, throughout yesterday, Reliance supported the market because of its demerger and its addition in NSE index. The story in short, PSU banks aka Bank Nifty, Drax Nifty, Reliance and Infosys supported the market. Sector-wise, PSU banks, metal and realty indices down nearly 1% each, while power index up by 0.6% and IT up by 1%. Though Nifty closed positive, the overall market was not that positive since the advanced decline ratio was just 0.7, which means in direct contrast to day before yesterday 30% more number of stocks were declined. However, still yesterday too, FII net bought shares worth approximately 2,120 crore rupees and DII net sold for near 1,320 crore rupees. Again, for the second consecutive day, it's just Indian market odd man out since most of the Asian market opened and closed negative. On the other hand, all three major index in US market opened near absolute flat and closed significantly positive. I mean, it just reacted to the US bank's quarterly results. For example, Bank of America beats the analyst estimation, so it traded more than 4% positive. Similarly, other major bank, Morgan Stanley, comes in line to the top end of analyst estimation, so it rallied 5%. In case of tech stocks, Microsoft increased near 4% as they announced that they are going to launch the subscription model of $30 per user for accessing their AI tool. And Microsoft expects this will increase their revenue by over 20% by 2025. All these made the US market really bullish, despite that monthly retail sales data comes below the expectation. Thus, Dow Jones increased 1.06%, S&P 500 up by 0.76% and Nasdaq increased by 0.71% and VIX still around 13.5. Regarding oil, there was a report or rumor that Chinese government is going to give huge stimulus package for reviving their economy. This increased the oil price around 2% and at the time of this video, Brent crude oil trading near $80 per barrel and WTI crude oil trading near $75.5 per barrel. Regarding Indian ADR in US market, it's too more of a balanced one and in line with Indian market. I mean, all closed positive but no extra positivity. Only HDFC Bank in India closed negative to flat. That becomes positive to flat in US market. About Gift Nifty, at 3 am Indian Standard Time, it closed at 19,803. For the moment, it's indicating the gap up opening of 25 points. So this is what happened on the global market. Moving on to the sector specifics. First, yesterday in the aftermarket hours, IndusInd Bank released their earnings. Regarding that, their net interest income increased 18% in line with expectation. However, their profit increased 32% against expectation of 29%. Similarly, the net interest margin was 4.29%. Again, it's also higher than the expectation. So basically, in short, it did beat the estimation. This is a positive one. Now the negative one. Similarly, L&T also released their earnings in the aftermarket hours, but here their revenue and profit on sequentially dropped 2.9% and 8.5% respectively, which is not good. However, on the positive side, year-on-year basis, revenue increased 13%. Third, NMDC, effective from yesterday, they increased their iron ore price around 650 to 1050 rupees per ton. I consider this as positive for NMDC stocks. Just to clarify, this is not an investment recommendation. Over the past 2 to 3 months, I have added NMDC, Reliance and Avanti Feeds to my portfolio. During April, I noticed that the shares of NMDC and Reliance were reasonably priced, so I decided to add them. As for Avanti Feeds, I held on to their stock for more than a year now, despite them being in a loss. To average out, I purchased more, but still continuing to underperform. As a summary, US market closed positive, but still there are some weakness in PSU banks and GIFT Nifty indicating the 25 points gap up opening. Regarding IT, it looks Indian market also got AI fever. About Reliance, yesterday in the Indian market, it increased by 0.9%, but in the European GDR, it closed positive of near 1.5%. So here, at present, there is an arbitrage opportunities. Then about the things to look out, L&T Finance, Tata Coffee, Tata Communications, Alok Industries, Century Textiles, Finolex and Hatson Agro Product are some of the major Indian companies' earnings results are scheduled released today. And in US, tonight, Tesla, Goldman Sachs and Netflix results are due. In terms of macro, during the market hours at 11:30, UK's inflation is due to release. Here, this is important since at present, UK is the only major country in the G7 and OECD that got the inflation of over 8.5%. Then at 2:30 p.m., Europe's inflation is scheduled to release. Here, the expectation is to come as 5.4%. Finally, in the aftermarket hours, various US crude oil inventories and housing stats are the items we need to look out for. Coming to technical, on the daily charts, Nifty forms a near bearish hanging man pattern but continued making higher high and higher low formation for 4 days in a row. Hence, the momentum is still strong. I mean, in order to say hanging man, the lower shadow has to be double the length compared to its body. But here, it's not double, more of 1.5 times. It could be an indication of reversal pattern. Nifty closed lower the opening levels, suggesting some intraday profit taking, and it formed a high wave type pattern after a rise. So, considering the sharp run up hinting at some consolidation. However, the overall trend is positive and in case a dip occurs, it should be bought into. On the upside, the short-term target is placed at 19,900. In terms of levels, 19,630 to 19,580 shall act as a crucial support zone, while 19,880 to 19,900 shall act as an immediate hurdle zone. In case of Bank Nifty, it consolidated after a sharp increase in the previous trading sessions. So, this consolidation is a healthy sign and any dip should be used as a buying opportunity. The daily momentum indicator has a positive crossover and thus any SIP is a buying opportunity. On the upside, I expect the Bank Nifty to target levels of 46,000 and 46,500. Again, it's not a buying recommendation, it's just my opinion. Moving on, from options change in open interest, there were both put options and call option unwound between 90,400 to 90,600 and also some put options and call options added above 90,650. Here we can't say any. So from overall options open interest data, there are maximum call option open interest is at 20,000 followed by 19,800. So based on the opening, 19,800 will act as the resistance and 20,000 looks like solid resistance. Then the maximum put option open interest is at 19,600. Thus 19,600 is the immediate support to look out for. Then coming to Bank Nifty, based on overall options open interest data, significant short straddle were present between 45,000 to 45,500 and the nearby maximum put option is at 45,000. So 45,000 becomes the immediate support. Then the maximum call option open interest without significant put option is at 46,000. Thus 46,000 is the resistance to break. So that's all in this video. Hope you all got some useful information. Please consider subscribing the channel and liking the video so it will help me beat the YouTube algorithm and also motivate me to do more. Please don't make any investigation based on this as I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. I'm doing this for my and viewers educational purpose only. Thanks for watching.